Sup y'all, today we are doing episode 2 of the timer, and this is just, we're going to add some accessibility things, we're going to make it more responsive, and the first thing we're going to do is make it not for giants. Because if you opened this up on anything that wasn't a big screen, well, it looked 3 times bigger than it needed to be. And that's because we built it against a design comp that was really big, and I was just kind of matching things. I don't know what I'm doing when I do these. Don't judge me. The whole point of this is to see all the mistakes that a normal human, not hyper intelligent, I'm a very normal person, stumbles their way through computer programming, especially in the front end where things need to be, they're just so tangible. There's so much discovery. There's no way, even after all these years of building stuff, that I could sit down and like enumerate every single thing you need to do in a piece of UI based on a picture. Just can't happen. So I iterate, and I love iterating, and here's iteration v2. Let's start with making this thing not for giants. Oh, we also want to fix some of the colors. Like I noticed that the background color is the same as our timer, and that's probably not exactly what we want. So let's make a different background color for the page. And here, we should even be able to, we have surface 2. Does surface 2 just look better as a background? Right, okay, so we can set surface 2, but now we need to come into our timer and give it a background of surface 1. So anyway, here we go. We're on our way through a refactor. Let's see how that does. I like that gray though. That's a really nice blue gray. Hey, look, it really matches a lot of what's in Chromium. Okay, so that's nice. And that also means the border that we put on there we don't really need, although I like it when borders can help accentuate an edge. And you can see it right here. Like, you can't see the border up here. It's the same color as the background. You can see it a little bit as we hairline through our shadow here, but down here definitely can see it. And I'm a fan of that. I think that looks nice. And now our timer pops right off. And now our timer looks like an app and a little component. All right, that was thing number 1. Let's change all the ginormous font sizes and just sort of like work our way backwards into something a little more sane. I remember we have a lot of 5 rem. Ooh, it picked up a 0.5 rem too. I guess we'll do these one by one. The spacing, let's just start cutting things in half. So we'll do a 2.5 rem gap. Our padding can probably stay 2 rem. We'll adjust that probably in a second. We're really looking for font sizes here. The font size of our H1, we never did change that. It seems fine. Wow, let's do 3 rem. For some reason, that loss of spacing really made things look crampy. Okay, our icons don't really need much of a font size. They're just they are 3 rem, which is pretty big. Here we go, time. Time is at a 6 rem font size. That's huge. You know, like a normal, oh, I could pull over the Android emulator. Let's do that. I got one right here. Boop, boop. And then we can, look at, we got some of our old demos pulled up. Localhost 3000. Oh wait, that doesn't work. It must be, oh wait, no, we're on 3000. Is it Android? I don't know, because that's, maybe I do need to reference, oh, I need to reference the local IP. Okay, so here, is that really our layout? Wow, let's fix some of the stuff in there. This is interesting. Oh, it's probably because yeah, look at all our interesting font sizes. Okay, this seems like a good spot to go. That font size is pretty big. Let's try 3.5 rem. Will we live reload inside of there? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, look, our icon isn't showing up, so we'll figure that out here in a second. Must be a browser regression. Looks like I have an update in here, so wherever Chrome is at, there's something has changed, and we'll figure it out. Okay, so our font size has significantly jumped, and if 3.5 rem is going to be our large numbers, I'm assuming that our keypad, look, which also has like a big gap of 5 rem, we could drop the font size of these to 2.5, so they're a whole rem smaller. Still pretty big, and really it's going to be more about their tap area, I think. Okay, our header, our H1 is fine. Our fab is really large. Let's change that. Yeah, 6 rem. That's huge. Let's go 4. Should be plenty for a finger tap zone. Okay, excellent. Our gap is looking quite large now that we've changed some of the font sizes. So we can change our gap down here to 2. Okay, and our max size, do we have a max width on here? I thought we set, yeah, max inline size, 75 characters. That was because our font size was so large. So now that our font size is more reasonable, I bet 40 is yeah, I like 40 characters. There's something very, very nice about that unit. It constantly shows up in my stuff. So maybe 43. Maybe I should just start using 43 characters everywhere. No. All right. Our timer. I think our timer header is too large now. So here we got font weight down here. How about font size? 1.25 rem should be plenty. Nice. Okay. Maybe not. Let's go 1.5. No reason that needs to be so tiny. Okay. We could even do like some letter spacing here, but maybe we'll get to there. Our icon here is really large, so our icon is quite large across multiple areas. Let's say 2 rem. Let's say 1.5 rem for an icon. All right. Okay. I see some issues with the alignment of our icon here. Oh, we lost our emulator. That's okay. I'll bring it back here in a second. This is all looking much better in terms of sizing. We can kind of move on, I guess. We'll nudge some more stuff as we go. The hierarchy feels weird though, and I still think the gap needs to go back up to 3. I liked it when they're, let's try 4. Let's go too much and then bring it back. Okay, so 4 was too much. 3 is nice. And there is an exception I noticed in the design that these were closer here, so maybe we'll pull that in. But for right now, I kind of like the equal spacing. But the equal spacing shouldn't overcome the association that these two have. There's a tighter association here than there is in these ones. So maybe we'll just add a container. We can add a container, and then we can micro control the spacing between these in a new container so that the one, anyway, we'll see if we get there. All right, so we've changed our background colors, added that additional, we just used our other surface color, which is kind of nice that our hairline matches our background. It kind of looks like it cuts through, has a nice effect there. Our fab, okay, everything's good. A little bit of spacing issues. Our numbers, are they still too big? No, they look fine down here. So I'm gonna leave them because they look good. All right, let's figure out why our icon is missing on the right. It looks like it has no height and width. Something about this header icon. And then do we want to see last? I think this needs to align, justify self, flex end. Yeah, okay, so that was a bug that I had noticed in the other one, which also means, well, flex start should be the default. I don't think we need to be explicit here, but we could, just in case anything comes in to add that, because justify, no, we don't have anything else justifying, so let's not do that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves and solve something we don't have a problem for. Okay, so we tucked our icon over to the right. We still are missing our header icon size, so that is going to be icon SVG. Height 100% or something, or height, maybe width. Hey, look, our icon just popped up over here, and it's still missing from here, and that's cool. And notice our header is a display grid with our oh no, not our header. We want our time is display flex with no gap. That's weird. Let's have at least one character of space between. Wow, look at that. It didn't nudge this one at all. So this font size needs to change. Let's start it at 2.5 rem for mobile. And here, let's even bump our max inline size up, because I'm looking at the mobile design. I'm like, take that width. It didn't even stretch to it. All right, we'll figure that out later. First, we adjusted a font size for mobile and have not subsequently adjusted it for desktop. So at media, min width is, let's see, I want this to be mobile first. So that's why I made the mobile font size, or just the default font size, smaller. So I'm saying if min width is less than, or I'm gonna mess this up, let's just say like 720 pixels, some sort of like portrait larger device. Then we'll say, or even like a landscape device, go back up to our font size of like 3.5 rem, whatever it was. So we should see this one grow, except maybe because I don't know how to write media queries. Dope! I'm pretty sure I have the syntax in there for handling this more modern way of doing it. min width. Well, let's say. Okay, so there's our min width working that way. Oh, its width is greater than 720 pixels. Aha! There we go. Stuff's hard. There's a lot of syntax. I like this new syntax, but look, I confused it with the old one. So now we don't have to use our min or max words. We can use a much more kind of expressive syntax here. I like this. This is nice. And I could say greater than or equals to, because that was what my original intent was. Okay, so our font size could even be a little smaller, especially for like our keypad numbers as well. Here they are here. We'll put them at 2 rem, and then, you know, at our common size here, 720, we'll bump them back up. What were they before that? They were 2.5. So we'll put 2.5 here. It's not really a night and day difference. That's really interesting that our layout here is being so. Is that because this is 20? Let's try 25%. Are we going to get like a magical number that kind of fits them both? No. I thought 30 would have been good, but I think our margin kind of cuts in. Oh, look, we're seeing a little bit of a difference here. I think it's because our flex basis, we need to do something like minimize, like here, let's calc 33% minus 3 rem. So that's, well, and we need really 6 rem because on both sides of the gap. Let's just try 3 at first. So what I'm trying to do is offset the gap that's in there and give these things a flex basis that kind of includes it. And let's see if that works. That does not work in the Android simulator at all. Does that mean it doesn't work in stable? This is kind of funky. I mean, let's open up a stable window to our local host environment, and it's rendering fine. So something about Android over there is really unhappy with our calc. That's unfortunate, because I want to leave that calc in there. It feels much more precise than our randomness that we kind of had. We were getting like generically lucky, I think, before, or it was just like, it was fine. Like flex basis is just like an optimal request. It's not very specific. And so I think what we were getting was getting a nice flexible space that was just somewhere in there. But now, why is this? I could inspect here. Let's see. Chrome, let's see, about devices. Let's just, yeah, here's Chrome devices. There's other ways to get here. Oh, look at that. We're going to get there the other way then, apparently. Come down here to remote devices. And I don't see any. Okay. Something's up with remote devices in Canary right now. And that's okay. I'm just, well, here, let's try it. Remote devices. Yeah, look, nothing here. That's weird. We should be able to inspect our DevTools in the other. Wow, yeah. Chrome devices, device log. I don't really, nope, yeah, can't be reached. Something's up. I'll figure it out later. I am using Canary, which breaks stuff all the time, so that's my fault. Interesting though, so we were wanting to investigate why this was failing. So if I do something like this, it almost looks like this syntax is entirely failing. Like this looks like there's no basis being applied at all. So 27% was like some sort of mystical, magical middle ground, right? Interesting. Look, it's trying to do the calc, and the calc is coming back not well. Okay. Well, let's just not rely on that then. Yeah, it's just completely something here. It's like, yeah, Canary is okay with it, but Android not so much. It kind of looks like gap is missing from a lot of my, grid gap is there. Oh, flex gap is missing. I might just have a really old version of Android here. Well, here, version of Chrome on Android. Let's see, we can go about here and find it in the settings. Well, that's just the site settings. Anyway, okay, whatever. I don't want to get into that more. It does look like we have gap missing. And maybe that's why subtracting the gap here isn't doing anything. Although when we had basis, we had gap. Or we only had basis and no gap. And that's why these are competing. Okay, I think that's what's happening here. Is they can't... it can't resolve, but I should just go update Chromium here. I don't know how long that's going to take. Oh, this should tell me what version I'm on. I'm on... No, whatever. Let's just update it. Okay, let's skip that. That was a deviation. I'm sorry for that. Our next task is to make this more responsive. And we're kind of doing that a little bit here, but I wanted to make it really be able to kind of crunch down and shrink, which it looks like we're getting closer to. These need to change their gap size. Oh yeah, see how much the gap is playing into the layout with our flex spaces here? Something isn't playing nice in the other scenario there, which is okay. So this looks like we're gonna want to drop our gap down to like 2, and then in our element here, we can drop this and get our calc back. Okay, and yeah, we can work these values down. Oh, did I just mouse wheel and change units? Whoa, whoa. Whoa, that's crazy. I'll have to get used to that one. This was 2 rem. So we're kind of working these units together. Let's make a relationship there. So if there is an obvious relationship forming, we'll set a gap variable here, and this will be of 3 rem. We'll use that. Oh, here, let's call it like numgap. Numgap, sure, numgap, numgap. Hello. We'll take that and we will use it in our calculation here. And now we can change it dynamically. So when we're in like a smaller range, we'll do that. And we'll take our numgap and just kind of bump it up as things get more spacious. So in a 480 range, we'll go to 1.5, we'll go to 2.5, I don't know, and we'll do, sure. What was it? I can't remember. We'll just eyeball it as we go. So this can shrink, 1.25. What's our width on? Almost at 240. It looks like the header is gonna need to take some adjustments. Next, can we go to 1? This is just the gap, right? Yeah, so we're just kind of tightening it up here. Okay, that actually looked fine. The gap needs to, so we have a lot of like gap adjusting happening at different viewport widths. I wonder if we could even use viewport width to help us with our gap there, and then we could, I don't know. Oh, look. Bug from copy paste. I swear copy paste bugs are some of my most common bugs. All right, let's try this again. 480, 720, looking good. 480, 720, drop it down. Okay, and we need to work on that header area a little bit as well. We'll get there. We'll get there. This is kind of nice though. I like these little like gap adjustments that are all self-contained there, and we just get to use it throughout here. That's nice. All right. What's next? I mean, I don't think that responsive work is done. There's obviously some little nudges we can do. There's maybe some font sizes here. I want to get to the interactive part, because there's like right now we tab and we don't get any, nothing in here is interactive because nothing is really properly labeled. Everything is just like a node with a layout. And let's fix that. And we'll fix that. Oh, look, I forgot to save, and that was our final adjustment there. It's cool. I liked it. Great. Okay. So let's go to our HTML. And essentially, we are going to start with the header and turn that icon into a button. So let's just do that and see the ramifications of our choice. All right. We can see that the icon button needs to remove some default button styles, but if we hit tab, we now tab focus onto that for free. So can't beat that with a bat. We'll say appearance, none, and this is post CSS is going to go through and write the proper styles to do that cross browser. You can see that we kind of lost some of the default button styles there. We want to say border is none and background is none. And that should get us pretty close to where we were. But we have some funky selection happening here. Let's go check that out. So our button has some margin and padding in it. Let's take that out as well. Well, just it looked like it only had some padding. So padding is now at 0. And when we, look, okay, that helped us with our tab focus, and now we get a nice little tab focus ring. We could use our offset value again and say, and focus, outline offset, I think we liked 5 pixels, right? Yeah, see, now it gets like a nice little thing there. And we can say background var surface 2. Great, and I want to keep doing more and more to this button. So we're going to say padding. We don't want padding. We do have a height and a width, and in order to get centered, let's do this. Display inline flex. Oh man, okay. We're going to have cross-browser issues putting flex on a button. What is our way around that? Well, browsers are getting themselves into a scenario where that's not so bad anymore. I think it's resolved pretty much everywhere now. So we're going to have to cross-browser check whether or not this particular thing is going to do harm or good for us. And then what we want to do inside of this is say place items center. So we want the child to be in vertical and horizontal center of its container. So here's our button. It does look like it was in the center there, which is nice. Oh, here I can zoom in the document. Let me get this little mouse pad working. I can pinch to zoom. Yeah, there we go. Now, all right, there we go. Nice centered button. We do want this to be a circle, so let's do that now as well. So that's going to be border radius 50%. We can kind of trust that because we have a very explicit height and width there. Now as we tab focus in, we get our ring, we get our button highlighted, and our button could use some, it could be a little bit bigger, right? Maybe not. That's pretty small. Let's make it 2 rem. We could go 2 rem and say the SVG height is 75%. Oops, 75%. Aha, so now we'll have a good hit area, and we can see that our place items didn't work. Never does. Align items center, justify content center. I don't even know why I try sometimes to use the other ones. Boom, and I saw it work. Excellent. We have a nice focus state. We have a nice hover state. It's actually not hover, but let's make it hover also. So we have and focus. We can say and is focus or hover, and now we'll get both. You can tell my editor doesn't like this because it is expecting the old one of matches, which I think will still work for me here. So like if I hover, yeah. Ew, that one's no good. That one's good. No good on the height. What if we do width? Same thing. Okay, so height kind of made more sense to me. Not good. And we want cursor pointer on hover. Well, really, we just want it in general. Buttons always take this huge stack of CSS. It's nuts. Okay. I'm going to go even bigger than 2 rem. Let's go 3 rem on our icons and shrink them down to 50%. Ah, there we go. There we go. And this one is weird, is it? It's in the center, but it does not look in the center. It has one of those like lopsided vibes. Maybe we'll set this one to have no hover because its active state should highlight the icon. I don't know. We'll get there. Okay, so this is all of our icons now have a hover state, and they're this one's not a button. Well, I don't think that matters yet, but that's why we can't tab into it. So let's go make that one a button too. That's in our time element, our span class icon here, and our fab should probably get one of those as well. It is also a button. Okay. Oh, I saw a little bit of a change here, and that's because we have, look at, there's a border color. So we said border none, but we brought a border back for our fab for some reason. Why does a fab have a border? Do I see border none in the... Oh, because it's not an icon. So it's not getting the same styles. The fab is a little bit different. So we're going to have to port some of it over. Oh, look, there was already some of this work done over here. Interesting. But now we'll set border to none. And that'll get us back in a working condition here. And we'll take our handy dandy matches selector and do some work on that as well. And look, this has width 50%. This height 50% same. A little bit bigger, and I like it. I'm going to keep it. We're just kind of being consistent with how we're filling our icons into their space. All right, and if I tab here, oh, there it was. And this background var surface 2 is not going to work. So what do we have? We have brand here, which is HSL. Let's do brand 1 focus. And in here, we'll take the hue. It's going to be the same hue, saturation. We want to hover and go slightly lighter. And we're going to do that to increase the contrast against the icon. So if we want to go slightly lighter, we can just do it manually here. And that's because we don't have the lightness in a calc. We might do that. I'm just going to bump it 10%. And then I'm going to make sure I use this new one here in our fab as its focus color. Boop. I'll tab there. Ah, there it goes. So when we tab into it, we get our focus ring. We get a nice highlight that increases the contrast. I think that's critical about hover effects. And look, actually, I'm breaking it here because we're hovering and not increasing our contrast. We're hovering and getting, well, here, InvisBook might even tell us if we're passing ratios. It's struggling. Oh, we are passing. Okay, so the light gray on the light gray is still passing in small. Cool. Bye, VisBug. Thank you for your quick little check. This is really obnoxious. I do not like how that looks. Maybe we'll do this one just as an outline. So here, let's do this. So keypad, this is our time button, is an icon that we want to be outlined. I don't know. I'm not going to mess with that yet. We're going to figure this out. I want to solve that, but first I want to make these numbers usable, because right now we've got some tab going here. These all need to be buttons. There's bigger fish to fry, and I want to fry them. So let's get to them. One of them's here in the keypad, and these are all going to be buttons now. Button, and we should give these a class. Oh. Boop, 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 beep, beep. Class equals key num key. Sure, num key makes sense to me. Awesome. We'll save that. They all just turned into little mini buttons, and they shrunk. That's fun. They started to not obey our descriptors here. Okay, so here's this. That's fine. This we're going to take and say num key. Cut that out. Scoot this back. Save. And we'll get ourselves here now to a border. Here we'll say appearance, none. And border, none. And background, none. Oh man, the color got lost as well. Color inherit. Well, yeah, I don't need this to be explicit color here. I'd rather have it inherit from just the whole timer app here. So that's fine. I want this. I don't want to use our custom property. I'm happy passing that down. Okay. And now we can tab into these, right? Excellent. We need these to be circles as well. And if these are going to be circles, our keypad here, which is setting their flex basis, that's its width. How am I going to get the width to match the height? If this is deciding the size of them, maybe this is how we can fix our our Android issues by not using flex basis here, rather saying, these buttons are better served not as a ratio of the container, but rather an optimal hit area for a finger. So let's program them that way, and let's build them that way. This num key should be specifying its height width, so it's inline size. It's just 3 rem. It might even be bigger, and our block size. So we're going to tell these exclusively what size to be, and it looks like that's a little small. So let's go 4 rem. These should be nice and big, really padded. So that means we're also going to want, so we can get rid of text align center, because we're going to say display inline flex, and basically do the same thing that we did above to these other ones. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't just type it. Here we go. Are we already pretty much there in terms of, oh, whatever. Here we go. Okay, great. Inline flex. And have we got ourselves into the layout already, just like that? Let's check. Let's pull open our simulator. It is still trying to open that up. And I don't see an we see an improvement. So since these got sized especially that way, I wonder if flex basis could help. Well, flex basis is going to do, maybe the outer and the inner can be a conversation piece we have right now. It can be! Okay. I know you're not laughing at home. I'm laughing because I learn stuff all the time. All the time. And my mental models, like, they flip between different perspectives. Anyway, so I had a prediction here, which was about our inner and our outer box, is that we have a flex layout, this keypad. Let's talk about what happened here. This keypad created a layout that said, I'm a flex container, allow my children to wrap, justify the content. So like align the group of elements to the center along the x-axis, right? So that's what we see. This whole stuff, this content is being put into the center, not each item, the content as a group, right? It wrapped and we centered the chunk, okay? And then we put a gap between each of those items in that chunk, okay? So, and then we went and said, attempt a flex basis that's 30%, minus our gap. So we're trying to give it something that's semi-distributed into a third. We're trying to create a meaningful third. And we accomplished that by describing a flex basis of a meaningful third and telling each child item its own box size. So that means each button here controls its own box. It's right, the box like you live in. It's like your skin, but you might be in a box. So Flex has created a box that's about 30% of the container space, and I'm at my own size. And these things together are helping us formulate the layout that we wanted. I'm not sure if inner and outer boxes is helping anyone, but it really helps me to think about them that way. Okay, well, and that's what's nice. If we've got inline flex, things are centered, so we don't have to worry about that. It means we can start doing a border radius. And we have some repeated styles everywhere, don't we? This would be a good time to make, well, I don't know. It depends on how you write CSS. There's all sorts of ways to clean this up. I want to quickly take a break too to talk about how the creation process for me is so much different than the optimization process. And this is another reason I like iteration. I can't author and be creative and expressive and discover while also simultaneously trying to be super picky about performance and just optimizing my dryness. So like, how many times am I repeating stuff? That stuff's easy to see in hindsight. It's really hard to see in the moment. And I think it just slows down. It just puts sticks in my stokes as I'm trying to cruise along the road. Anyway, so that's why I like to just come back. I'll come back and clean up these styles, add more custom properties or whatever it is that makes me helps me feel like this is a more maintainable solution. Anyway, let's continue not being dry. Okay, so there's our border radius at 50%. Oh, here we can go through. if we hover, we don't have any hover effects yet, so let's steal that other one. And this is, oh, I could have gone down there. This is the num key. Great. Okay. Ooh, oh, okay, so there's the manifestation of our basis and our own box size conflicting, which I think we can fix by telling the num key to not stretch. We can do that here, flex basis with a flex shrink of none. Like, don't shrink. Dope. It's being told to not shrink. Well, here, let's also hover, simulate hover on that element, and now we can kind of figure out how we can get it to lock into a position. Well, talk about locking it, so we can say forced aspect ratio of 1:1. Didn't work. Great. This button is being requested with a width, and its height is just not matching, it looks like. So the width got stretched out more than the height. So here's our height and width. We got the layout that we want, but we don't have the button size that we want. This might be a good time to add an extra div. But I don't want to. If I take flex basis off, we go back to being properly sized. Interesting, but so let's remove this style entirely, and our layout is still fine. Our layout is still fine. And what about our simulator? Our simulator is not fine, and that might just be something we can choose here in max inline size, like make this smaller on mobile and then kind of bump this up. That's cheating. I don't like it. We do still have some work to do there, though. Our harmony is not perfect. I'm going to, well, first off, this number needs to be bigger. So many things to change. I don't know how much time we're at in this episode already, but it feels like it's dragging on, and I'm gonna have to cut it short, and we'll have to do another one later. So I want the num key to be even bigger. Excellent. And when it's focused, I want the background surface 2. So var surface 2 looks like this. This might be a good time to stash the channels, because then we could put some opacity. Oh wait, I don't want to do opacity. I want to do, well, we also need cursor pointer on this. It's kind of annoying the buttons don't come with that. Cursor pointer. They should feel interactive, just like these. Yep, feel interactive. Let's do a ring also. Border. 1 pixel solid. Now, yeah. Okay, and it'd be like active is when I would do the background. Well, we don't need the whole matches. We can just do and active. So this is when the press is happening. We'll change the background color to the surface color. Okay. Okay, excellent. So we can tap through here. We got these. Our layout looks fine. We still have some bugs to fix in it. I think our gap is a little heavy now that I'm pushing buttons and seeing the size of these. So let's change that. This is our Numpad. Look, we got some commented out code. Uh-oh. Whoa, our gap is that, oh, it gets really large. I see. So let's test it out on a small. And we'll grow to 2. Oh, you know what I think we need to do is split these out, because I like the column gap, but I don't like the row gap. Yeah, I want to make this one smaller than the other one. Okay, so row is going to be smaller than the column one. Tricky. Okay, so let's try like 2.5 rem on that, and then here we'll say 0.5 rem. So, ooh, see, we had a broken layout right there, which is okay. We'll fix that stuff later. Okay. The row gap here looks still really massive. Pull those tighter together. I want them to be nice and usable. Nice. Okay, that looks like a grouped numpad. Okay. Interesting. All right, I am going to skip over all these little nudges right now because these are all interactive. We can tab through them. We can hit spacebar. We get all the goodies. Oh, here, let's make our fab jump on active. Fab and active. When things have shadows and they're being interacted with, I really like it when they, here, top 1 pixel, and we'll say position relative somewhere here. And now when it gets tapped, it bounces. And I always like that. Yeah, nice interactive vibe. This one doesn't need to bounce. It's got a shadow. And if we wanted to, we could mess with the shadow and make sure the shadow doesn't move. So we could offset our shadow -1 pixel. Let's just do it. We're pros, right? So on active, we're going to take our box shadow. This is X, Y, and our Y is going to subtract. Yeah, so now it looks like our element moves onto the shadow. Could even exaggerate it. Let's get our zoom on. All right. Cool. I'm happy with that. Let's make these number inputs. That was one of the other things I wanted to do. Is like, these are numbers. The user is going to tap this and hit these, right? At least that's kind of the idea. Is like tap that, hit some numbers, tap that, hit some numbers, hit start. So let's make the time elements interactive. And right now they're just strings. So we want to make these an input type number with the value of 0, 0. Let's see what that does. Oh yeah, that's not nice at all. Let's go to our timer element. So we have our time span, which is now got a new child of an input. Awesome. Say background is none. Border is none. And width is that's gonna be tricky. Let's say display is inline block. We will find out what happens in just a moment. Our font size is also now no longer passing into this, so I think we can inherit it. Font size inherit. So exclusively grab that from the parent, and now we are really popping our way out of the space here. So if we look at our input, our display inline block, it's not really done much. If we do width auto, no. Min content, no. 2 characters, yes. That though is a dangerous value to be typing in. I don't want to do that. Also, the color needs to inherit. Oops. Font size inherit, color inherit. Now it'll be blue. Yes. Okay. I really don't want the width to be a unit like that. That's not very sustainable. Whew, that's cool though. We do get that. See, look at that. Oh, and look, it's gonna cast us into a 0 and we go down. I think there's a way to specify formatting in the input element that could make it do that, but maybe I'm remembering, an Angular or a React plugin that was like helping me out. Okay, let's change the others. They're ready to go. Value, this one was 01, and this one is 23. Yeah, look at that. This is, and we probably don't want the spinners. There is a way to get rid of those, but I'm going to leave them for now. This input, so we have a flex item here, which is aligning items to the baseline. Oh, which we might not need anymore. Oh, we do, which is cool. It's aligning to the baseline in an input. That's super advanced. I'm really impressed by that. How do I get the width of my input to not be so massive? So if our time here has a layout, each of the time spent children flex basis, I mean, how many, we had like 4 items in there. Yeah, that's just, flex basis is not going to push that input around. This input is coming with some baggage. Where is it? Let's look through the styles here to see what we really need to overwrite. Oh, it looks like it's going to be here somewhere. Maybe it's our white space. Cursor, margin, font, no. Appearance text field. I wonder if we do appearance none. Yeah, that's not gonna, it's not gonna fix our very wide element here. Yeah, where is 587 coming from? Right, like, that's just not gonna work. So if it's just an inline block, it should be sized by, but it has a shadow DOM. I should go expose the shadow DOM to see what's happening, but that sounds not very fun to work with either. There's a small amount of padding in there, which I'm totally cool with. What is happening? If I do a display grid, and then I say, maybe I want an inline grid. Okay. It's still not really helping. Grid template, oh, let's see, grid auto flow row or column, and grid template columns. Let's hope min content and 1 FR. No, I'd have to say 2.5 characters again, and I don't want to. Look at that. That just starts enclosing on its space, and it gets cut off, and it's a typable space. I want to use the number input because when a user on an Android device, or just any device, sorry, it's not even Android specific, when they tap into that, the keypad that shows up will be the numbers. But, you know, I'm looking at the design. We've got all the numbers right here. And so I'm assuming JavaScript is going to be listening to this, right? You're going to have some sort of like interactive experience here. So like listeners. So when they click 5, it's going to be focused on the content. Let's not use the number input. The number input is just not going to work. So I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to make these strings editable. Or do we want to? Okay, so here's the UX question. So now I'm like questioning the whole pattern that's happening here, because this isn't just number inputs. Like if we were to build this more webby, we'd get rid of the whole num keypad, I suppose, and just let folks directly edit these and hit play. So you could remove this entire section here by working out this problem that we're like trying to lay out. Or what we're doing in the UX here is someone's going to load up the timer. They are going to click here and click here. So this isn't actually editable. This just needs to be able to receive focus so that the context can be known as these get tapped, even though these will steal focus. So there's definitely some JavaScript that's going to need to maintain some state of like a selection state, not just a focus state. So yeah, you're going to need a selected state eventually here. And JavaScript could help you maintain your double zeros and stuff. All right. If that's the case, we just need these to be able to be active and tappable. So we could give them like a tab index of 0. We could make them buttons, but I don't really think they're a button. They are text that can be focused, which is a lot like a we're not going to make it a header. I don't really know what the best choice is here. If anyone wants to respond to this video with some advice here, I'm really interested to know what your solution is. I'm going to save what we did because this looks fine. And did we end up going in? Yeah, look, we have all these input styles. I'm just going to delete them. We're not going to use them. And, I think that is interesting. That's an interesting problem. I'm gonna have to think about that more. So maybe we'll have a V3 where we'll come in and we resolve these issues. And until then, I think I'm gonna call this video right now because I need to think some more and get some feedback about how we make this better. So like, I think we have some responsive improvements to make. Like this looks too tall. And I think we have some interaction updates to make, or we have some even cross-browser things to fix, right? If I pull this back up in our simulator, it's not quite working as we want it to in here. Oh, that was awkward. Look at that bug. Okay, well, whatever. Oh, look, yeah, push it right there. Okay, like get that nice layout. All right. Yeah, this video is definitely done. I am losing steam. I'm losing my train of thought. It's time, it's time to stop this iteration and freeze it and share it. And then we'll do another one later. I don't know, maybe. What do you think of this timer? Is this timer worth spending more time on? Do you want to see how I iron out this icon? How I iron out some of these tap animation? We didn't even add transitions. Like these just tap and go. I would really like to see like a fast highlight and then a slow trail off. I think that could be nice. Anyway, so there's design changes, interaction changes. There's like a lot of little, we need to sweat more details. So come back for episode version 3 and we're going to sweat more details. Let's fix this timer and really nitpick it and help me nitpick it. Write some comments. Tell me what you want to see changed and let's do it together. And I will see you later. Have a good weekend. Goodbye.